It doesn't matter where you get your bachelor's degree. You could even get your bachelor's degree, I feel, like from even Harvard or UT Austin, and you still come out short.
Welcome back to Too Hard, Too Fast, the podcast with strong opinions about things that we may or may not know too much about.
Don't know. Like Berto.
In order to broaden perspectives. In order to broaden perspectives, let's start the show. Boom. Hey, we're not trying to change your mind. We're just trying to broaden your perspective.
That's right, baby.
That's right.
All right. So, Berto,
This
you were
is TCU education right here, right, Berto?
Hey, yes, sir. You've been there about a year.
Even though UTSA is what provides what you need, but it's all good.
Hey, I love UTSA. I love UTSA too, man.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, we're bringing Berto back because Berto had a lot of good things to say.
Berto's He's
we want him back on the podcast.
He lives in Welfare, Texas, close to San Antonio. What's up, Berto? You live in Welfare, Texas, or what?
Not far from it, dog. Trust me, I know all about the welfare system, and I'm not ashamed of it.
Oh yeah, no, that's good, bro. Tell us about the welfare system, bro. Is it good? Is it bad? Can people take advantage of it, or what's up?
Everybody knows that. Yeah, it's not. It shouldn't be a shock. It shouldn't be hard to or any news that the system gets taken advantage of for sure. And if anybody's that naive, then I don't know what to tell you, but I'm sure
I'm that naive. Tell me something.
There's a lot of people who take advantage of the system, and if that's what you're doing.
Hey, but is that wrong? Is that wrong if they learn just like in the business world?
I'm trying to break this.
Here's the thing, like just in the business world, like just because they have a degree or they learn how to do really good business and find their loopholes, is that a wrong thing? Maybe, I don't know. Like they're still taking money from somebody.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So these people learn how to work the system. Is that bad on them? Maybe.
Yeah.
Because
they found tax benefits. That's true. Is that good or bad or what's up?
Yeah, and there's loopholes at every level, right? With everything, you can be loopholes with starting all the way down at the bottom all the way to the top, and we've seen
except
that
for the middle class.
Exactly. I'm just saying, I personally, I don't want to be in that cycle of what I grew up in, welfare, food stamps. You know what I mean? I didn't want to do that for me. That's just my thing.
What is your perspective on growing up like that?
My perspective is my mom did what she had to do, and she had 5 kids. My dad wasn't there all the time. He was there once in a while. But it helped her with 5 kids. We got everything, every assistance you could think of, dog, everything.
You got free lunch at school or what?
Food stamps. I got free lunch. But I also see how you can get complacent in there and just stay like, you know what, this is okay. Like I'm going to teach my mijo and my mija and my family, hey, you can be here and stay in this cycle of needing federal assistance and you'll be fine. That's what my mom always told us. And my mom always told us and my grandparents, hey, your mom, this is where you're at now, but this is not where you have to be after you get out of school. You know what I mean? You can join the military. You can go to college. You can get a job so you don't have to be in that cycle of relying on somebody to give you your money.
Here's the thing.
Work for it.
You could get more.
Here's the thing. It sounds like your mom did it out of necessity versus like to just get free.
He depended on it. He depended on it.
Yeah. No, she did, but it was also to where, it was always that like this isn't where it has to end. This isn't it either. So she had to do it because she had 5 kids, but it was just because she had to. Now, hey, we had Jordans and I had Nikes, and I mean we didn't want for anything, but looking back, we didn't know either that we were low income and getting assistance. Now that I look back on it, now I know, hey, I was doing this because my mom was on public assistance and welfare and all that stuff. Now she still worked. So here's the tricky part. They want you to get off of it. They try to get you out of the system, right? but it's hard because as soon as you start making X amount of dollars, all this assistance stop. And so if you get out of that income a year, there's no more federal help, and so that helps too. So you get scared, and you're like, man, I'm only going to make X amount of dollars. Let's say $30,000 a year. If I make more than $30,000 a year, the government's going to stop my check, and so you're not going to get any help. So that's the conflict too. You know, it's almost like you're forced to kind of stay in that cycle before you're able to get out and do better. It's almost like the system's against you. So you have to want to get out of there and provide and work your ass off.
No, hey, bro, I get you. I used to do taxes.
And I understand that. I mean, I got a brother incarcerated, and the system's against him. So when he gets out, the system's going to be against him. The system is lined up for him to go back in as soon as he gets out. And I understand that. But when you have a good family with you and people that are there to say, hey, we got you, man. When you get out, we're going to take care of you. We're going to help you out. Then his odds are better than somebody who's coming out and doesn't have anybody. They're going to go right back in jail. I mean, it's just everything's not perfect. So the system's not perfect. Just like immigration's not. It's flawed. Social Security's flawed. Food stamps is flawed. All these federal benefits they want to help people, but it's hard. It kind of keeps you entrapped in there because it's hard to get out of there.
But
there's no resources to help you get out of there.
I want to take away from the fact that you mentioned a lot of things that are, to people, it seems like it's a flawed thing already. Like to people, immigration, food stamps, all that, being incarcerated, all that is already a negative. But so there's also like this thing, like everything is flawed. The school system is flawed. The judicial system is flawed.
Higher education is flawed.
Higher education is flawed. Higher education is held like the top thing, and it's flawed.
Hell yeah!
Look at these college kids that are trying.
What's up?
We come out and we have debt. You know it. We know
it.
We came out in debt.
Yeah. And again, it's like, hey, here's this money. We'll pay for your school. We'll do this, and then you don't think about oh, wait, I'm going to have to pay this back later. But they're real quick to give you $30,000 a semester to pay for your private school. But then it's like, okay, well, after that's done, you're going to have to pay this back. And then the trying to find a job after you get out of college with a degree is going to be challenging because you might not get that dream job where you're making $80,000, $90,000, $100,000. You might be making $35,000,
bro. Exactly. You're promised once you get your bachelor's degree,
yeah,
you could get any job you want and you'll make six figures, right?
Yeah, it's not
regardless of which degree you get, and that's not true.
Correct. That's not true.
I don't know how many people I know that are doing something different than what they went to school for.
No, of course, dude. Of course,
that's the case.
And don't get me wrong. I think, me personally, I think. A bachelor's degree or higher education educates people in general, and it's for the greater good of society, but it doesn't translate into a career that could lead to high income.
At least not at the undergrad level.
Exactly. Yeah, not at the undergrad level.
And also, but at the same time, like
not even at the graduate level or the doctoral level, because I know people at a master's level and even at a doctoral level where they fall short thinking, oh, I have my master's or I have my doctoral degree, and they can't find a job either because they don't have the experience.
And, okay. And,
I mean, I think it falls at all levels.
At the same time, do you ever think about, like, because I think this way and this negative way of, like, how, like, the depth and all that, but also I'm glad I went to college. I'm glad I went with that. I would like that for my son too.
Oh yeah.
But I would tell him, like, hey, it's not going to be the end all be all. You may not.
That's where you
get
grow
anything from it, but I need you to go.
I think college is the most.
I want you to go.
Yeah, college is the most growth that happens. And number two, you also can't expect. You have to realize that if you get hard work pays off. If you get a degree in English, philosophy or history
Whatever.
or human arts or whatever. You can't expect to get out of there and say, "Oh, I'm going to make $100,000 now."
Exactly.
You might have to go to grad school and change it to get your business degree and to where there's money in there.
Exactly.
Because what I've seen is everybody from what this is me personally at TCU, all the graduate degrees that are coming out of businesses with business degrees, accounting, finance, they're working with Lockheed Martin, BNSF, big corporations that are paying them. They're kicking ass to go back to school and get your master's, and so they're paying your $90,000 a year for your tuition, and they're paying you a good salary on top of that. So you can't expect. They're also misinformed. Like, you can't expect to take the easy way out and get a philosophy degree or English degree and think you're gonna be banking when you're 22 years old. It's not gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. You have to work hard for it. You have to find the right area.
Or the other way around, not finish your bachelor's and think you're going to be rocking unless you have, good networking skill. You find a skill that doesn't need a degree, or you blessed to have a good job that's paying you good money without a degree. That also works too.
I'd love to do a college edition of the Too Hard Too Fast podcast. Please
Christina,
jump in right now. We could continue.
Hey, jump in. We don't want to hear from Berto. We want to hear from you.
No, I'm listening to Berto, and I think he's making really good points, because I think we have had the opportunity to see things from two different perspectives. So one, we went to the lake, right? Which we had an amazing experience there. We had
we all did
an academic journey. It was new for all of us to kind of break out of our spaces and kind of venture out and learn more about ourselves. But in reflecting on that, was the academic experience all that we needed to be successful? Absolutely not, right? Because there's so much more outside of that. Networking and relationship building and corporate relationships and how you network and doing all those things. I think that the lake lacked in helping us prepare for that. And so we graduated, and while we had this like wealth of knowledge behind us that we didn't have going into it, we struggled to get our next thing and figure out who we really were. And that's where it's really important. And so I see a lot of students, one, getting out of their undergrad and then landing somewhere and going, okay, now I see life through a new lens as a working professional and I need to go do something else. Maybe I need to go get a master's degree. And so my conversation is, but what are you going to do with it? Do you at least have some direction, right? Because that's a lot of money to pay into an experience if you're not going to be in it to win it and you don't have any sort of vision. If you do know where you're heading, or at least where to start, then it's absolutely worth investing in yourself to get an advanced degree at the right place. And so in the conversation of even just, income levels and things like that, a university like TCU, at the cost and the alumni that come out of that institution, that's what you're paying for too, right? And so how do you leverage those? And if you aren't capable of engaging with people in a meaningful way, then you're doing a disservice to yourself getting a graduate degree.
And Joaquin knows he works at it.
Right. And there's a format for everyone. Yeah. Online works for some people. In person works for some people. I tell my students all the time, if you are in it to win it and you think $90,000 is worth investing in yourself, and you're going to come on campus and engage in person, and you're going to go to every professional development thing, and you're going to be in it to win it in the classroom and network with your classmates, this is the right place for you. If you're checking a box because your employer told you to go get a master's degree so that you can get that next promotion, there's a place for that too. And I don't want you to spend all your money if, that's what you're trying to accomplish. And so it's different. And for some of us that are first-gen college students, a lot of my MBA students at TCU will say, I went to a community college, or I went to a really small university because they gave me a scholarship because I was first-gen, and that was the best thing for me to do. And then I went on and smoked it at Lockheed. I smoked it at AT&T. I smoked it over here and showed them what I could do. And now they're paying for me to go back, and I get to pick where I go. And I want to go to TCU because it's private, it's expensive. I want to be part of that network because now I'm viewing things differently. And so I think it's important for folks to reflect before they, and y'all know, y'all have master's degrees.
Joaquin, you and George were first college students, right? Like first generation?
No, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Well, what I want to say, because I work in higher ed as
Yeah.
well, is that I don't think it's just a Lou. I think it's higher education in general that when you graduate, they don't teach you how to network. They don't teach you how to apply to jobs. So I don't
Undergrad.
think it's just a Lou. It doesn't matter where you get your bachelor's degree. You could even get your bachelor's degree, I feel, like from even Harvard or UT Austin, and you still come out short. You still need that experience. But you're right. Once you're in whatever area you want to be in, then if you could align that with your master's, then you'll come out on top. But to be able to network and be able to connect with people in
Yeah.
Yeah.
general. So yeah.
And
Regardless of where,
I think thinking
regardless of
about
where
the whole
you
network thing.
where you came from.
Like I've always said, I don't know.
yeah, and I'll
I said it to a
counter
bunch
you,
of people.
Joaquin, too.
Berto can go up to a complete stranger, and just make a friend out of him.
That,
Berto's an ass. Nah, I'm joking. Nah,
hey,
he's a great
George,
guy. He's a
to
great
tell you the
guy.
truth, man. That,
I'm joking, bro. I'm
that's
joking.
100% true, man. I got into TCU because of that, and took classes because of that, and got my job that I am now because of networking. So
Hold on.
it's all, well, my wife, but she networks, I network, and so that's how you
It's
gotta.
a little bit of a dream team, but it's important,
If those are the cards that I'm dealt,
Yeah.
you gotta make the best of it, and I mean, just be yourself and network, and go to those happy hours, go to those dinners, go to those online Zooms, go to wherever you need to go, and just, you got to leave your fingerprint somewhere.
And here's the thing, forget. And I think people always like, I totally got into it with someone on Facebook this last week. And
I'm not privileged.
She was like, saying like, oh, your privilege is showing. Pretty sure my dad worked in construction my whole life. And you know what I mean? We were all first gen, and trust me, if you knew how I grew up, you wouldn't think that. Here's the thing.
Same here.
It is what you make it, right? And so there are some folks who say, I'm just really uncomfortable. There's no way I'm going to go to a party with all these people who are, you know what I mean, above me, have more money than me. Who cares? Quite honestly. Put yourself out there. You've got nothing to lose putting yourself out there. And be intentional about what you do and be genuine, right? And that's where Berto wins. I think that's where we win. We genuinely like people. We genuinely like networking. And that in turn for us has given us a group of friends that are executives in companies that are, reaching out and thinking about jobs that I'm going, oh my gosh, Berto hasn't worked for a wealth management firm, but he could do it. I know he could do it if you showed him how. He's been in banking forever. And those are the kind of folks that know you well enough and like you well enough to where they're willing to risk it for you.
Yeah.
That's big. But I will say too, Joaquin, institutions are different. So TCU is different, or at least the business school is. We pride ourselves on being able to place all of our undergrads out of business school. So we have a career services coaching system that coaches all of our students on the way out. Now, every once in a while, I get a call from an undergrad going, oh, I think I need to go into an MBA program right away because I just don't know what to do once I graduate. I'm like, you just spent how much money on an undergraduate degree at TCU? Did you go to your scheduled career services appointment? Did you go to this career center? Did you go meet with your coach? Oh, no, I guess I should start there. Absolutely. Please don't go drop a $90,000 check if you haven't even held your own on your meetings with your career coach, right? So you get out what you put in. And then as a professional, once we get out of school, it's even more important for us to put ourselves out there in uncomfortable situations. You know what I mean? I don't know how many times I text Berto and I'm like, oh my God, I'm here. And I'm like, the only Mexican, probably the only person in my early 30s.
Which is okay.
And Berto's like, it's okay though. Go rock it. Like, you know what you're talking about. That's not a big deal.
And you got to get out of your comfort zone too. You can't say, oh, you have nothing but white friends, or you have nothing but Mexican friends, or you have nothing but black friends. If that's the career you're in or the networking people you're in, I just don't see how it's people say, oh, you have a bunch of white friends. Hey, I'm in Fort Worth.
If anything, that could be an advantage because sometimes they're looking
because if
to diversify. So
exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
Just like when I was in San Antonio, all of us were Hispanic, right? Everybody mostly except for Elu and
He's basically my friend.
That's it. So it's like, hey,
Bleep, bleep,
I have
bleep.
white friends. Hey, so what? I'm proud I have white friends. Just like I'm proud I have Mexican friends. I don't see color. I'm just saying this is what's in front of me. This is
I
what's
see
in my.
color, but I get
This
you.
is what. This is what's in my area where I'm living at, and this is in my line of work, wealth management. If it's white people, black people, Indian, I don't care. I got to make sure that that they're taken care of, and this is it. So,
hey, Berto, like I want to go back to that thing we were talking about off camera because I think that was a good thing you brought up about how you were saying that the podcast to you was like a good idea because of the different perspectives and how we've had different friends think of different things, especially when it comes to politics. So I kind of just want to go back to that where you were talking about off camera.
Hey, Beso, give her a kiss, Berto. Beso, beso.